It's time for the 1430 Connection on 1430 WNAV and 99.9 FM, spotlighting news, newsmakers, and important community issues. Now, with this week's edition of the 1430 Connection, here is WNAV news anchor Donna Cole.
Welcome to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. In the studio with me today, this is a kind of a fun day. I have 4 of the crew members, including the commanding officer, the executive officer, the command master chief, and the operations officer of the USS Sioux City. And welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Donna. It's great to be here.
Thank you, Donna.
Thanks, Donna.
Happy to be here.
All right, so starting with the commanding officer, we have Commander Randy Malone, who is originally from?
Arkansas.
But you do have experience on the water.
I do, yes, ma'am.
Tell me which ship you were on last.
My last ship was USS Boone.
USS Boone, and what kind of ship was
Frigate
it?
out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Aha. And all of you are from the South, by the way. Yes, go ahead. We have the executive officer, Commander Lewis.
Yes, I'm from Sylvester, Georgia, and my last ship was a mine countermeasure ship, USS Dexterous.
And Command Master Chief Timothy Hardin from?
Also from a little city in Mississippi, Chavius City. So my last ship was USS DeWert frigate out of Jacksonville, Florida.
And Lieutenant Commander T.J. Orth from?
Hi, I'm from Farmville, Virginia originally. Last ship was USS John L. Hall, another frigate out of Mayport, Florida.
We do actually have a Naval Academy alum here as well, yes?
Yeah, I graduated in 2007, and then I came back from 2011 to 14 as a navigation instructor.
Well, welcome back, Lieutenant Commander Orth, and thank you all for doing what you do. All of you are fresh off a Veterans Day weekend spent in...
We got a second annual visit out to Sioux City where we got to interact with all the veterans out there and the city officials. They treat us extremely well, and it's just heartwarming to see the camaraderie and the absolute support for USS Sioux City.
And this is the namesake for the ship that will not be commissioned in Sioux City because there's no
water there.
The history of the ship, it was announced in 2012. This is a littoral combat ship. It's LCS-11. That means it's the 11th ship of its class. The odd numbers are for the monohulls.
Yes, ma'am. Freedom class.
Okay, and the even numbers are for the multi-hulls.
Yes, ma'am.
Work began February 2014 in Wisconsin. It was launched January 2016. Next up, starting in December, are the acceptance trials. This is where the Navy says...
Yeah, acceptance trials where the Navy goes in after the builders test everything, and we verify that the ship is ready to deliver to the Navy. Once acceptance trials is completed, then the crew will have about 30 days from acceptance trials to move aboard the ship.
You've had some time, though, already on the, and I'm going to go over to your operations officer, Lieutenant Commander Orth. You've had some time to play around on the ship to see it being made. It's being constructed by Lockheed Martin. It's in Marinette, Wisconsin. Have you been on it already?
Yes, most of the crews had a chance to go up to Wisconsin and spend some time on board. We're fortunate to have 2 of the sister ships, USS Milwaukee and USS Detroit, in Naval Station Mayport, where we're currently based, so we've been training on those 2 ships as well. And we also have a training infrastructure in Mayport and in San Diego, California, so the crew has been literally all over the country the last couple of years training to take this ship.
And Commander Malone, I understand that we'll get into these different modules of the ship, but there's 2 different crews also?
Yes, so the Navy's gone to a blue gold cruise, similar to ballistic missile submarines, where we will take the Sioux City Blue is our crew, and we'll take the ship for 4 to 5 months, and then we'll turn over to Sioux City Gold, our sister crew.
Now I understand why there's a Facebook page called the Gold Crew. Do you all have a Facebook group?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I need to find that. There's one for the Blue Crew and one for, and is there a competition among both of you for this is going to go to your executive officer. Is there some sort of, there has to be. Everything in the Navy is a competition.
Yes, ma'am. There is a competition amongst us as a crew, but we typically limit those competitions to things like athletic events.
Oh, come on.
But we both have the ship's best interest in mind, and we want to take a serious approach to ownership and the maintenance of the ship. So there is some competition amongst us as a crew, but our overall goal is, make sure the ship is ready for operations 24/7, around the clock, and ready to answer the nation's call.
So, Command Master Chief Hardin, does that mean you're Command Master Chief for both the gold and the blue? Or
For each crew, there is a command master chief for each crew.
But your crew is better.
My crew is better, and so if you can go on and like the Facebook page for your Sioux City, Gold Crew will be the best.
All right, I'll the blue crew.
Blue crew.
Master Chief.
Blue crew. Blue crew.
Might be a traitor amongst us.
All right, we're going to take a break. But yes, this is the blue crew one more time that is with me. And so we're going to just assume they're the best for the time being until the gold crew is in here. This is Donna Cole on the 1430 Connection. We will be right back. Welcome back to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. I'm delighted that part of the crew of the USS Sioux City, which is going to be commissioned right here in Annapolis sometime in 2018, have joined me today in the studio. We have 4 members of the crew: the commanding officer, the executive officer, the command master chief, and the operations officer. And we're debating over who's the better crew, the blue crew or the gold crew. There's 2 crews for this ship. We're going to give Command Master Chief Hardin one more chance to get this right.
Well, you know, in all fairness, you know, 2 crews, we both make the ship. It's going to make it one mean war machine. But, you know, for competitive between the 2 different command master chiefs, you know, the gold crew, I think we beat them on the Facebook page. We have more likes. So if you get out there and like the page, we'll love that.
All right. Very good. Commander Malone. So the next thing, we're going to go into acceptance trials. This is where you will say, okay, everything works, everything's wonderful. The Navy takes responsibility for the ship.
Yes, ma'am. From that point, we go into a truncated basic phase training for the crew to prove to our boss that we're ready to take the ship out of Marinette. And we will do that about 67 days from the time that we move aboard. We'll sail the ship through the St. Lawrence Riverway, through the Great Lakes, out into Halifax, and then we'll pull into Norfolk temporarily.
And then straight up the bay to Annapolis, Maryland, to the U.S. Naval Academy, where it will be commissioned, and pretty exciting for all of you.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the ship itself. I'm going to go over some notes here. Fast, agile, mission-focused ship that's capable of being reconfigured for different missions.
Yes, ma'am. So there's 3 warfare areas that we can do. We can do surface warfare area, mine countermeasures, and submarine warfare. And each one of those comes with a different module that is interchangeable with the ship.
And how quick does it take to go from one to the other? Is this like a few days?
It's a couple days, yes, ma'am.
That's amazing. Have any of you ever worked on a ship that's capable of completely, it's kind of chameleon-like, yeah?
Yes, ma'am. You know, traditionally the legacy ships come with all this equipment already outfitted on board, and you know, you just switch from one warfare area to another. But with the LCS, you know, the adaptability with these, you know, kind of an expandable force package is how we kind of view it. Being able to shift from one warfare area to another after you complete the unload and plugging in the new technology and immediately being able to go conduct missions is quite capable.
And fast as can be.
Yes, ma'am. 40 plus knots, so about 50 miles an hour.
That's the fastest a naval ship can go right now?
For this class, yes, ma'am.
It's kind of amazing. Actually, I got permission to say this. If ever there was a badass ship, this is a badass ship.
Absolutely.
I saw it referenced on one of the videos, and I watched a bunch of videos today about the ship, including some by Lockheed Martin themselves. But one of them said it was referred to as a military jet ski with a flight deck and a gun.
Yeah, so that's what makes LCS so unique, is the water jet propulsion. No other ship in the Navy right now is propelled by water jets, and that gives us the unique, very shallow draft of about 14 feet.
And that was the reason these ships came to be, I guess, back during Desert Storm. It was realized, and you can correct me, that we had all these wonderful ships and all these quite capable ships, but none that could go chasing pirates, none that could go into shallow waters.
Yes, ma'am. And that's sort of our mission set as well.
So 2 defensive weapons aboard, 57 millimeter gun forward, capable of firing over 200 rounds a minute, and aft is a rolling airframe missile launcher.
Yes, ma'am. And then if we have the surface package on board, we get 2 30 millimeter guns aft, right forward and atop of the ram.
So this does everything you'd want a ship to do, plus more. Is it good out in the deep sea as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And it goes so fast that you have a rooster. Have you driven another one of these ships that's already out there?
I have not, but like you, I've seen the videos, and it's quite impressive, the rooster tail that it puts out.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's generally doesn't happen. For those that haven't had the experience of Navy, what does an operations officer do, Lieutenant Commander Orth?
So as operations officer, I'm in charge of the ship's schedule and overall maintenance of the certifications and qualifications, and just making sure that, anywhere from 1 week to 1 year to 2 years out, we know what we're going to be doing and what we need to prepare for that.
All right, and so will you have permanently an aircraft on board, or will they be coming on board as needed?
When we deploy, we'll take an air detachment, and most of the ships of our class have been deploying with one H-60 variant and then 2 to 3 unmanned helicopters.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And do you all get to play around with those while you're in this training period too, or not you specifically, but somebody that's qualified to work on it too?
We've done some training to integrate with them, but I will certainly not control any of the unmanned aerial vehicles.
Command Master Chief Hardin, how about you? Your thing is the personnel.
Yes, Donna. In my expertise, I probably won't be manning, but I probably can talk to the CO about doing some offline qualification.
Playtime. And our XO over here, we have Commander Lewis. Tell our non-Navy listeners what an XO does.
So an XO is the second in command, and he is the principal assistant to the commanding officer. My job is to give the captain the best advice, whether it's professional, military related advice with respects to the ship and our mission, and then also to kind of help the operations officer run the schedule and look out and plan for events and missions and make sure the ship is ready, whether it's personnel, from updating wheels and power of attorneys and getting ready to go on deployment, to coming back from deployment, making sure we have our return and reunion briefs completed. So I'm kind of like a city manager, to make sure that the captain is kind of viewed as the mayor, to make sure we're running the town and ship in the best way we can.
How many crew members will be on the ship?
75 crew members, and then when we get the air detachment that the ops officer mentioned earlier, we'll bring in an additional 25 to 30 personnel on board, man.
All right, let's take another short break. When we come back, more about this USS Sioux City and its crew. This is Donna Cole on the 1430 Connection. We will be right back. Welcome back to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. In the studio with me today is Commander Randy Malone, the CO of the USS Sioux City, which will be commissioned here in Annapolis sometime in the spring or summer of 2018. Commander Chavius Lewis, he's the executive officer of the ship. Command Master Chief Timothy Hardin, he is the Command Master Chief for the ship. And Lieutenant Commander T.J. Orth, operations officer for the USS Sioux City. Any women on board?
Yes, ma'am. We have seven. We have 7 females on board. We have both enlisted and officers in the female ranks.
Okay, so I was just surprised. I asked you about the most important area of the ship. Okay, it's not radio. It's not your area, CO. I'm sorry. It's the galley.
Absolutely, and that's one thing that's very unique about LCS is we do not have the traditional food service attendants, where we take personnel from the crew and put them into the galley to help the cooks prepare and clean up and get ready for the meals. We all do that. We all do our own dishes, we all do our own laundry, and we have our own cleaning stations, even the captain.
That's amazing. So wait, you're going to be preparing meals for your crew or for your...
Making meals, cleaning my own rack, making my own rack.
Now I understand why there's so many Southerners on, because you know how to cook, you know good food. So tell me what your specialty is and what you'll be making for the crew.
Just whatever the cooks tell me to cook.
Tell them to it.
I don't really have a specialty, per se, but we will eat well.
I'm gonna see. This is where I'm digging. To our executive officer, Commander Lewis, your specialty?
Anything on the grill.
Command Master Chief?
I make a mean lasagna, 5 cheeses, so that it'll be great for the crew.
All right, and our operations officer, your specialty?
I'm a pretty good baker, actually, but don't let the captain fool you. He does a heck of a low country boil.
Ooh, crawfish, huh?
And my kids love crab. So snow crab legs and shrimp.
Okay, so because the crab in this part of the world, by the way, that means Maryland blue crab, and we steam them, not boil them. It's a big difference, but a low country boil is a great thing.
Absolutely.
So there you go. To the crew that might be listening, you can expect that from your commanding officer. All right, so there's all this weirdness with the timing of the commissioning ceremony because you don't know what the St. Lawrence River is going to do as far as freezing over the winter.
Yes, ma'am. So part of the schedule is Lockheed Martin's testing right now. And then once they are satisfied that they can meet the Navy requirements, they will tell the Navy we're ready to go into acceptance trials. So once they do that, we look at the schedule of the ice. Traditionally, the Wellington Canal closes in December and reopens at the end of March into April. And that's one reason that we're uncertain on the schedule after that.
Okay.
If Lockheed Martin can get the ship ready before the ice comes in and we do acceptance trials, then it'll be an late spring, early summer commissioning. If they are unable to get it to acceptance trials prior to the ice, then it will be a late summer commissioning most likely.
Okay, and where will a permanent home port be for you?
Jacksonville, Florida, Mayport.
That's exciting. Is this the first LCS there, or are there others?
Now, there's two LCSs right there right now, the USS Milwaukee and USS Detroit, and by the time we get Sioux City out, USS Little Rock will be there.
Little Rock, Milwaukee, and Detroit, Sioux City will be the best?
Absolutely.
Okay, that we can agree on. Not the gold, not the blue, the ship in general will be the best LCS out there.
No doubt.
The people of Sioux City and the people of Annapolis are both been part of this journey with you.
Absolutely. We've been to Annapolis and we've been to Sioux City. This is the second round of visits through there. The commissioning committee, Admiral Thorpe and Chris McGowan is doing a great job. They're trying to take care of the crew, trying to take care of the ship, and make this the most memorable event in the history of Sioux City.
And Annapolis, for that matter.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So next time we see you back, we're going to see you in sometime during the spring and summer with the ship attached to you. You pulled up today to the WNAV by car. But
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
all right, and what you don't know is that I've several times have said, by the way, I want to be part of that ride up the bay from Norfolk to Annapolis, and I don't know if you're going to take hitchhikers or civilian hitchhikers.
We have that in the works, and we have to get permission from the Navy to take on civilian passengers, but that is part of our work that we're having to do is homework. Yes,
All right, and this is, again, I got permission to say this word, so I'm going to say it one more time. It is the most badass ship the Navy has created. It's fast, it's agile, it goes where no man has gone before, or woman, so to speak. It really is a cool ship, and I congratulate all of you on being part of this crew.
Thanks for hosting us, Donna. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
For more information on the USS Sioux City and its progress, make sure to give the USS Sioux City's Facebook page a like. Also, the LCS 110 Blue Crew Facebook page. And yes, the USS Sioux City LCS 110 Gold Crew Facebook page. Federal funds cannot be used for many of the events surrounding the commissioning of a naval ship or the establishment of an educational fund for the crew and their family members. If you'd like to help with that or be a sponsor, visit USS Sioux City, lcs11.org. As always, make sure to follow our 1430 WNAV Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram feeds, as well as our WNAV News YouTube channel. This is the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. We will see you next week.